My screen is visible. Hello.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. So today we will discuss about one of the most important service in AWS, that is VPC. Right? VPC means Amazon Virtual Private Cloud. So Amazon Virtual Private Cloud is a web service provided by AWS Web Service that allow you to create a logically isolated section of the AWS cloud where we can launch AWS resources in virtual network that you define, right? So main important thing is this isolated, right? Means isolated means only it's completely isolated from each other, and uh, in this isolated section only we can access, otherwise no one can access from outside. But only we can access, right? It's a completely isolated section, right? It's provide a security, we can say it's provide our security to our AWS services like EC2 instance. We can give the security to our EC2 instance, right? It is the definition of VPC, right? Then let's understand the key feature of AWS VPC. So first thing is key feature is I just told you before, isolation, right? With VPC we can create a private isolated network within the AWS cloud. Uh, this allow you to launch resources like EC2 instance, RDS database, and more in the controlled and secure environment, right? So actually in AWS we have two type of VPC. One is the default VPC and another one is the custom VPC, right? So default VPC is already is there in the AWS account, that is AWS already created, but the custom VPC we can create, right? So in this custom VPC we can launch our EC2 instance and RDS database and many more services, right? So it's a benefit is the isolation. And next is the custom IP address range. You have the flexibility to choose your own IP address range, right? Own IP address range means suppose I want to mention the IP address, like already you know the IP classes, right? IP class means class A and class B, right? So this is the IP class range. Like in the class A, that is start from 10 dot, right? And the class B it start from 1 to 8 dot 0 dot 0 like this, and class C is 192 dot like this, right? And in the class A is the large network, means we can create a large number of provide the large number of IP address. So in the VPC we can customize the IP address, right? And we can the flexibility to choose your own IP address range for our VPC, enabling you to design and configure the network according to your needs, right? So we can configure whether we will go for class A IP addresses, or class B IP address, or class C IP addresses, right? And third is the subnet. VPC allow you to dive you IP address range into one or more subnets, right? Subnets are segment of your VPCs. IP addresses range where you can place resources, right? Subnet means where we can place our resources, right? and we can configure each subnet to the public or private base on your requirement, right? It is the definition of a subnet, and we can say this is the what this is our subnet, private subnet, and this is the public subnet. This private subnet means we can access this from privately matlab, uh, private, sorry, the subnet public means we can access from outside, right? And private we cannot access from the outside. So this is the subnet part, right? Subnet is the definition. Then next go to the security group, right? And security group and network access control list, right? NACL. It's a very important security group and a network access control list. Many of the interviewer will ask what is the difference between security group and network access control list, right? So we already saw the security group, right? Security group means we will whitelist the uh, port, right? In the security group we will whitelist the ports, like when we will launch a Jenkins instance. That time what we will do, we will just go to the security group and 8080 we have to whitelist, right? This thing is the security group, and NACL, right? NACL, network access control list. It's also like this. We have to uh, whitelist the port, but in a NACL, right? In a NACL, you can see the in the security group we have also the inbound and outbound rule, right? But in NACL, it also inbound and outbound rule. The main different is in the security group when we will whitelist the IP address in the inbound inbound rule, it automatically whitelist in the outbound rule. But in network access control list CL, where we have to mention in both, right? In both means in inbound also as well as in the outbound to traffic to and from your instance, right? So let's understand the definition. VPC provide the security group, right? And network access control list inbound and outbound traffic to and from your instance. So network access control is it's a set of rule defined from controlling the network traffic and reduce the network attack, right? So main difference, let me go to the diagram, then we will understood better, because it's a important thing, right? Mainly the difference is important. Many of the interviewer will ask you what is the difference between uh, an, NACL and security group, right? So better go to the diagram and see security group versus NACL, right? Just go to the image part. Okay, just this is the difference, right? So let me zoom this. Okay, Okay, so you can see this now. Oh, sorry.
Yes, yes,
Okay, so so you can see here, this is the subnet, right? And this is the subnet one, and this is the subnet two. Inside this subnet, uh, instances are there, right? EC2 instances there, and this is the network access control list, right? For subnet one, and this is the first subnet one. This is right, and let's understand what is the difference in this diagram. So you can see here in the security group, that is in our instance level, right? The security group is attached just just the off of the instance, right? Then the NACL is attached in where in the subnet level, right? In the subnet level, the NSCL will work and the security group will work in the instance level. This is the one of the major difference, right? So first difference is the, you can see the difference. You understood this thing? Did you understand this thing? Hello? The
yes,
security
yes,
group
yes, yes.
is, it's very important, right? So security group is work work in the instance level, right? You can see on the top of the instance it's used, right? In the security group, it will be used in the instance level, and the nscl is used in the uh, subnet level, right? So this is the difference. Let's understand the difference. Okay, let it be there. Leave it. The difference is where. Okay. So this thing is the important thing, and the second difference is when we will whitelist in the security group, right? When we will whitelist in the security group, means suppose we will want to whitelist 80804, right? So only when we will whitelist the inbound rule, it's automatically whitelisting the outbound rule also. But in the NACL, we have to both change the inbound as well as the outbound rule. We will see this in the classes. We will see this, what is the difference, right? So let's go to our PPT. Just close it. Okay. So this is the important thing. That's why I told you. Then second is the internet and VPN connection, right? So suppose we have a VPN connection, right? In our on premises, right? In our on premises, suppose we have a VPN connection. Then we want to access from those service, means some those services like our instance and database in the on premises, right? Do you know what is on premises? Hello.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Suppose the service is in the on premises, so no one can access this service, right, in the outside. So how AWS service will access this? Means what will happen? Suppose we have a hybrid system, means some of the resources are in cloud, and some of the resources are in our on premises. So that time, how we will communicate with our on-premises database or on-premises system to the AWS cloud? The best solution here is the AWS direct connection, right? So this is the one of the feature of VPC, that is AWS direct connection. In this AWS direct connection, we can communicate to our or we can connect to our on premises database. So in many of the interviewer will ask you like how can you connect, how can you connect on-premises data center to our AWS data center, right? So the answer is direct connection, AWS direct connection, right? And sixth is the route table. So let's understand what is the route table. You can define a custom route table to control the traffic between the subnet and define how traffic is routed in and out from the VPC, right? So let's go to the NAT gateway. It's a very important thing also. This is the different interview will ask you, like the what is the difference between NAT gateway and the internet gateway, right? So let's understand the NAT gateway, right? Network address translation, right? This is the full form of network address translation. That is the NAT gateway. Allow instance in the private subnet, right? It's a important thing. This is the private subnet. The NAT gateway comes means it will use in the private subnet to initiate about to traffic to the internet while preventing unsocial inbound traffic from reaching those instances, right? So this is the definition, but let's understand what is the NAT gateway, right? Let me create a scenario first. Suppose we have a UI application, right? UI application. Then that UI application is connected to our database, right? It's connected to our database, and in this database, you can see this, right? In this, you can see better in this diagram. So let it be our. Let it be this to our what our UI, right? Front end application. So this is in the public subnet, and this is the private subnet, right? In this private subnet we have kept our database, right? This is the MySQL database. So in the private subnet, um, we don't have the public IP, right? Remember this thing, in the private subnet we don't have the public IP. So no one can access from the outside, means through the internet no one can will access the private subnet resources. So only we can access in public subnet resources. So how we will access this? So we can access this by the public subnet resources. Means in the VPC section, suppose we create a custom VPC, then in this VPC our resources can communicate it to each other, right? Our resources is communicated to each other. So in the public subnet, suppose we have the UI server in the public subnet, right? So if you have the UI server in the public subnet, so it can easily communicate to our database, right? So there is nothing to do. It's automatically connected to our database and communicate. Suppose mm, one user access the our public subnet through the public IP, because public subnet have the public IP. One user is access to the public subnet, and uh, through this public subnet actually the user cannot access the directly to the database, but the public subnet resources, means our suppose EC2 instance, that is the UI front end application. The front end application will access the database, right? So this thing will happen. But where the NAT gateway thing come, right? That this NAT gateway thing comes when suppose think actually we will provide the internet to the only the public subnet, right? We will provide the internet only to the public subnet, but in the private subnet there is no internet connection and it will not access the internet. Think about any software update required in the database, any security patches required in the database, then how we will achieve it? The solution is the NAT gateway, right? The solution is the NAT gateway. So we have create a NAT gateway, and through this NAT gateway, the NAT gateway is placed in where? Interviewer will ask you, NAT gateway is placed where? NAT gateway is placed in the this is the NAT gateway, right? This is the NAT gateway, and it's placed in public subnet, right? It is placed in the public subnet, and the NAT gateway ID is mentioned in the route table of the private subnet. Remember this thing; it's a very important thing, right? NAT gateway is created in public subnet, right? And this NAT gateway is provide a you can say it's a unique ID, right? NAT gateway ID, and this ID we have to mention in the private route table, right? So you can see this diagram and imagine this thing, right? And you can see this is the internet, means this is the user first access the um, to the internet gateway, right? And internet gateway is connected to the route table, right? And we have two route table. One is the public route table, and this is the what private route table. And in the public route table, sorry, this is the router, not route table, this is the router, and this router is connected to the our resources, right? You can see this is the mysql, and this is the two resources, two instance, right? Right, and this is the all those things. So this is the, you can see this is the definition of the NAT gateway and internet gateway. Let's understand the internet gateway. What is the internet gateway? An internet gateway allow communication between each instances in where VPC and the internet. It essentially serve as a internet gateway for traffic distance to or organization from the internet. Means the internet gateway, you can see here, you can see here the internet gateway. This is the internet gateway, right? This is the internet gateway. So internet gateway, it's help to communicate to our what our to the user, right? Our user first access the internet gateway, then we can through this internet gateway we can access the our public IP, public subnets resources, right? But in the NAT gateway, it is helpful for the private subnet, right? In the private subnet resources through the NAT gateway, we can give the network permission. We can give the internet permission for what? For the any update, any security patches, right? So these things, and also many things is there, right? In the AWS, there is the many thing like PPC peering, right? And AWS direct, this thing is there. So let's do a demo today, like how to create a VPC, how to create a subnet, right? How to create a route table, how to create a NAT gateway. Okay, so we will do the NAT gateway thing and see how without NAT gateway, the internet connection is there in the instance or not. Or after setting the NAT gateway, what will happen, right? So go to the our AWS account, right? And search here VPC, right? VPC, isolated cloud resource. It's also written. So one of the another interview question is uh, when uh, when we will create a VPC, right? When we will create a VPC, then by default which thing, right? Which thing will automatically create it, right? So let me change the region. Let me go to the Tokyo region. Okay, so by default, which thing is created? So by default, internet gateway, right? Sorry, no internet gateway. One is the route table, right? And a network access control list, NACL. Remember, one is the route table created automatically when we will create a VPC. Route table created, and one NACL, right? One subnet, one security group created, right? So you can see here the default, always default VPC. There is a one default VPC is there. When we will create a EC2 instance, that time you can see the default VPC is there, right? One default VPC, and there is no NAT gateway, right? There is no NAT gateway. There is a subnet. There is a three subnet. Means why this is three subnet? Because we have the three availability zone in the Tokyo region, right? In the Tokyo region, we have the three availability zone. That's why this is the three subnet, right? And one route table is there and one NACL is there, right? NACL means the network access control list. One NACL is there, right? Internet gateway is there for default VPC, right? For default VPC there is an internet gateway. So remember this thing, there is a 111, and let me create a VPC and let's see what will create automatically, right? So you can see here, just click on, after clicking the VPC create, you can see this thing, and go to this only VPC. This is the advanced thing, VPC mode, right? It's an advanced thing. So let's go to the click on this VPC only, give a name, right? I am giving uh, power cloud underscore VPC, right? Give any name, right? And give the CIDR block range. So I'm giving 10.0.0.0, right? Slash 16, right? And do nothing. Okay, okay, fine. So, and do nothing, and it should be default and create a VPC. So our VPC is created. It's a very simple. Our VPC is created. So let's go to the your VPC section and let's see automatically which thing will create it. Go to the dashboard, VPC dashboard. Right? You can see here. Oh, I have created a new VPC. That's why it's written two. Right? And you can see 2 means the route table is created. Remember this thing, interviewer may ask you like when we will create a VPC, automatically which thing by default created. So first one is the route table, right? And second one is the network access control list, NSCL is automatically created. And third one is the security group, right? Security group is automatically created. So three things automatically created, that is the subnet, right? Route table and okay, no, not subnet. Three things means the route table, NSCL and the security group. Three things is automatically created, right? So let's go to the your VPC section, right? So this is the you can see the Power Cloud VPC is created. One of new another interview question. Today we will discuss many more interview questions. So actually, interviewer mainly asks you like a VPC part. This is the security part. That's why interviewer will always ask you from this VPC, right? VPC uh, part. Many of the interviewer will ask you. So interviewer may ask you like how to create a subnet. What is the sorry? How to create a VPC? What is the steps to create a VPC? So a simple step. Just go to create VPC. After create VPC, you can see. Just remember these steps, right? First create a VPC, right? Then create the subnet. Then after creating the subnet, directly jump to the internet gateway, then create the route table. This is the flow, right? This is the flow, and the interview will want to know the flow. First, create the. Remember, I am repeating this thing. Uh, First, create the VPC, then create the subnet, right? Then create the internet gateway, then create the route table, right? This is the flow. In this flow, we have to mention and we have to say to the hello Viru bhai, good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Sorry, sorry.
Actually I forgot to uh, remind you to yesterday.
But I'm silent mobile.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Okay. So we are
Yes.
actually discussing the VPC thing, just complete the theory part, right? What is VPC, what is subnet, and what is the difference between NAT gateway and internet gateway, this thing. And we are just creating the VPC, right? Only just create the VPC here, right?
Oh,
And actually we will we will see today we will see only the NAT gateway thing, how we will configure the NAT gateway, right? So this is the I actually I have created this the power cloud VPC, right? And let's go to the subnet section, right? So let's create a new subnet, right? When we will click on the subnet, you can see here the VPC ID. So you have to provide the VPC ID. Not go to the default one, just go to this created VPC, that is the our power cloud VPC. Just click on it, right? And go down, give a name, right? Suppose I am giving my public, right? My public subnet, sub, right? My public subnet. And availability zone preference, so let me select this zone, right? Let me select this zone. And here we can give the CIDR range. So 10.0.0.0, okay, slash 24, okay, and change this one to 1, right? Okay. And create a subnet. Okay, so one public subnet is created. Let's go to create another subnet for your private subnet, right? And again select our created VPC, right? And give a name. Giving my private subnet. And give the availability zone. I'm giving different availability zone, that is 1C, right? And by default, okay, you can see the VPC CIDR range. It's given the CIDR range, and I am giving my CIDR range here for the subnet then .0 dot 2 dot 0 slash 24. Okay, and create the subnet. Okay, so we have created two subnet. You can see here we have created, one is the public and another one is the private, right? So first we have created VPC, then created a subnet, then we will go for the internet gateway, right? What is internet gateway? It's provide the access to our user to access the our resources, right? This is the internet gateway. So let's create a internet gateway. I'm writing my internet gateway, right? And just create, simple, it's a very simple, it's created, right? And it's created. Actually you can see here status is detached, right? So we have to attach this. Let's go to the action, right, and attach to the VPC. Click on it, and you can see this is our VPC, just created VPC, the power cloud VPC. Just click on it and attach internet gateway, right? So you can see here its status is attached, right? And everything is fine. Let's go to the route table. Okay, so by default a new route table is created, and now we will not use this route table. I am creating a new route table, right? So create a new route table. I'm giving the name route table for public, right? Route table for public, and select the VPC. I'm selecting my VPC, right? And create a route table. So I have created route table for public route table, right? Let me create another route table, that is the private route table for our private subnet route table, and private, right? And select a VPC. This is my VPC. Select my VPC, cloud VPC. Create. Click on the creator route table. So now I have created two route table, that is the route table private and route table public. So let's configure the route table first. Let's go to the private public route table, right? Public route table, and we have to associate our subnet, right? Means this is the public route table, means we have to associate. Just go to the edit subnet association, right, and select the public one, right? Because this is the public route table as we consider, that's why I am selecting this the public subnet and save association, right? Fine. And let's go to again the route table, then do the same thing in the private one, and go to the private, click on this subnet association, and go to the edit subnet association, and select this private subnet, right? And let's save the association. So now we have associated our subnet to the respective route table, right? And let's go to the public route table and provide the internet gateway path, right? You can see this is the route, and edit the route in this route, right? So you can see here this is the local, right, already mentioned. Just add a rule. In this rule will give the permission to everyone, right? Everyone means the our user can access this, and go to here the click select the internet gateway. It's automatically populated the my internet gateway, right? It automatically populated, because I have created this internet gateway and associate and attached to the my VPC part, right? Associated to the my VPC, that is Power Cloud. So let's select this one, right? Automatically, internet gateway ID is populated, and we have to select this and save the changes. Right, so everything is fine, everything I have configured, right? So now directly jump to the EC2, and we will create a EC2 instance, right? And using this VPC. So this is the EC2 instance dashboard, right? It's loading. Wait. Okay. So let's go to the instance and click on the launch instance. Okay, and give a name. Suppose I am giving the web underscore UI. This is my front end, right? This is my front end, that's why I'm giving this name, web underscore UI. And let me leave it. This is the Amazon, right? Fine. Latest word, latest image I'm taking. And T2 micro, right? Fine. And create a key pair. I don't have the key pair. I am giving just a name. This is the Tokyo, right? Tokyo region. Just create a key pair. It's automatically download. Okay, fine. And go down. In the network section, just click on edit. Just click on this edit button, right? And in this after this in edit button, click on edit button. This is the network setting, right? In this network setting, click on this VPC, right? And select it. Automatically by default you can see the default VPC selected, but we will go for our own VPC, custom VPC, right? So click on this, the Power Cloud VPC, right? And in this Power Cloud VPC you can see it will populated. There is two subnet, right? You can see the two subnet, but this is the front end application, right? Front end server. That's why we will go for the public subnet. Just click on this public subnet, right? And after clicking this public subnet, don't forget to automatic assign IP address, right? So click on and enable it. If you don't enable it, it will not give the public IP to the instance, right? It automatically give the public IP to the instance. It enable these things, right? And select the existing security group. It will loading. Default one is there. Okay, so let it be default one, no problem. Okay, and everything is fine. Okay, just launch instance. Okay, so let's go to view all instance. Just refresh it. Okay, it's preparing. On that time create another instance. Click on the launch instance. Okay, and give a name like this is our database. So I am giving DB. This is our database, right? And go down. Everything is fine. This is the image, right? And instance type is fine. Select the key pair. This is the key pair, right? And edit the network setting and select our VPC, right? And the subnet we will go for the private, because this is our database, right? So we'll go for the private subnet. Just click on it. This is the private subnet, and in the this is the private subnet. That way, the automatic assign IP, let it be disabled, not required, right? So fine, just click on it, and default one. Let's select the default one, right? And everything is fine. Let's launch the instance. Okay, and go down, view all instance. Just refresh it. Okay, you can see there are two instances, and if you will select and go to the details, right, you can see the public IP. Let's see the sorry, private IP. Yeah. So in this private IP, you can see 10.0.131, right? So this is the feature I have already told you. We can customize the IP address. So this is the I have select means I have taken the class A IP address range. So that's why it's came from the 10.0.1.31, right? So if you go for the DB part, you can see this also 10.0.2, right? I am mentioning these things, that's why it comes from there. And you can see there one thing, there is no public IP, right? In the DB instance there is no public IP, but in the uh, but in the uh, our front end web UI, there is the public IP, right? So let's access the let's access this front end application, right? And check whether we can access any internet connection or not. So let's go to the terminal. Okay, fine. Select the key pair. Okay, and T2 EC2 user, right? EC2 hyphen user at the rate public IP, press enter. What happened? User. Right, will take. Okay, connection out. Let's check the port number. Let's check the port number. It will take the default one. That's why I think there is a no port number is there. So let's check the security group. Okay, and this security group. Let's go to this. Okay, all traffic is allowed. Okay, okay, fine. Okay, let's do the port number 22. Okay, then click on this, save it. Right, so fine. And let's go to again, let's check for access. Okay, now we can access. Yes. Okay, so now we can access our instance. Okay, you can see the this is the uh, our what this is our private IP, right? And let's do check ping 8.8.8.8. Let's check whether there is internet access or not. We can see, we can ping the server, ping the this IP address, right? And it's give the reply from the IP address, right? And let's go to how we will access the how we will access our uh, database, right? This thing we will see. Suppose we have a but you can see here one thing in the uh, in the in the database instance there is no uh, private public IP, right? There is no public IP in the database section. Just click on it, you can see there is no public IP. Then how we will access this, right? So let's see how we will access this. So first we have to copy the content of the pem file, right? The public key and secret key combination. The pem file is the public key and combination of public key and secret key. And this thing uh, this file we have to copy to our server first. Let me open this one, open in any text editor, right? And just go to this, copy the name. Okay, then sudo vi and give the name, press enter, insert. Okay, just copy this vim file content and paste it here, right? And save it, right? And again go, how we will now we can see this is the what this is the our pem file content, means combination of public key and secret key. So let's do ssh hyphen I, right? And the pem file, right? And ec2 hyphen user at the rate the private IP of the instance. This is the private IP. Just what happened? Okay, just copy this and go to the terminal and paste it here. Okay, press enter. Fingerprint, yes. Okay, so you can see now I am in my DB server, right? DB server. This is the DB server. You can see this is the change the IP. That time this is the 31. You can see the 76. So this is my DB instance. So let me check. Can I access the internet from the our DB instance? Let me check. Ping 8.8.8.8. Press enter. No, it's not connecting, right? Ping is not there, so it's not give the reply from this IP address, right? If I will go for okay, let me there. Fine. Okay, suppose I will do sudo yum install a git, right? Okay, you can see this is also not downloaded, right? This is also not downloaded, right? So git cannot install, means suppose we have to any update in record how we will do any requirements. There is a mysql database is there, then any update is required. But there is a no internet connection in the DB server, right? So how we will do this? By the help of the NAT gateway, we can provide the internet connection to our database server, right? That is our to the private subnet instances. We can provide the this thing. So let me. Okay, I just came out from the instance from the it's the download processing, right? Let's go to our VPC part and create a NAT gateway. Okay, and see whether we will access our uh, database server or not. And we can see in the left hand side, we can see there is a NAT gateway, right? Just click on it. Okay, so there is no NAT gateway. Just create a NAT gateway. Okay, then give a NAT gateway. So I am giving my NAT. Okay, and subnet. Okay, subnet. Which subnet we have to select? You can see we have to select the public subnet. There in the public subnet section, I have actually this mention in the NAT gateway. So let's select the subnet. Which subnet? The you have to select the my public subnet. Just click on it, my public subnet, right? And let it be there. And here we have to allocate a elastic IP, right? Just click on it, allocated elastic IP. It automatically allocated, right? And go down. Remember this elastic IP is chargeable. So when we will complete the lab, we have to uh, release this elastic IP, right? Now we allocate this thing and we will release the elastic IP, right? So create a NAT gateway. Okay, so it's pending, right? It's pending. Just wait. Status is pending. Okay, the status is pending. Wait. For that, let's go to the our route table, right? And give the uh, NAT gateway ID to the private subnet. Don't go to the public, right? Go to the private subnet, right? Because in the private subnet, we have created the our instance, right? So let's go to this route and edit the route, right? And add route. Let me give the all access, right? And here you can see the NAT gateway. This is the NAT gateway. Automatically it's populated the NAT gateway, my NAT gateway, right. Just save the change. Now I am now I am select the NAT gateway and in the uh, private route table, right? Let's go to the NAT gateway and once again let's check the status. Okay, now it's available. Status is available. So let's go to the instance, right? Okay, so I am actually in the where in the database in the database DB instance. Let's check the DB instance IP. You can see this is the DB instance IP is the 76. So this is the 76. Again, let's do the pink 8. Okay, okay, you can see we can access the internet in the our database server also. So in this NAT gateway, we can, by using the NAT gateway, we can uh, provide the internet connection to our database for what? Uh, for the security patches. Interviewer may ask you for why we will give the uh, internet connection to the our database for the security patches, for the any update, right? You can now you can download the git also. Sudo yum install git. Okay, now we can download this. It's 100% completed. Okay, now we can download this. Let me, yes. Okay, now it's installing in the our database server. Okay, fine. So in this way we can use the NAT gateway, right? So remember this thing. Many of you confused, right? Many of you confused when we will create a NAT gateway, where you have to place the NAT gateway first. You have to place the NAT gateway in the public subnet. Remember this thing. Remember this diagram, right? And you have to place the NAT gateway in the public subnet, right? And when the NAT gateway is created, there is a ID. NAT gateway ID comes, right? And this ID you have to mention in the private route table, right? Private route table you have to mention, then it will works fine. Otherwise it will not work, right? So remember this thing. Many of you confuse this thing. Is actually confusing thing, right? So sometimes what happen, people think this is the actually we are connecting through the private instance. That's why everything will be in a private section, right? But it's not right. We have to create a NAT gateway in the public subnet, right? Public subnet, and the public and the NAT gateway ID you have to provide in the private route table. This thing you have to remember, right? Otherwise, we will also confuse you, confuse, and you don't uh, do the lab, right? So this is all about the NAT VPC and also NAT gateway. And previous class we will study the rest of the things like NaCl, right? NaCl and VPC bearing, these things also we will see in our next class, right?